Children from Gan Yisrael, usually sometime during the summer, the Rebbe would speak a Sicha to the campers from Emunah and the girl camp, and the campers from the boys camp from Gan Yisrael, New York, and maybe Montreal also used to come in. And it was like a rally where the Rebbe spoke to the kids and so on. So this came out Daled Elul in 1979. And the Rebbe spoke a few topics in the Sicha, and this was followed by the 12 Psukim. Often the Rebbe would connect the Sicha with different themes or different points pointed out in the 12 Psukim, plus obviously the period of time that they were in. So now this Sicha, which I only have in Yiddish, I do not believe it's been translated into Hebrew. There's also I found somewhere a Sichas in English copy of this. I will post that copy, the English copy of the Sicha as well. And you could learn it in English. Okay, so we're going to start from the second column, Ois Zayin. The uplearning from Itzkin Chodesh, that which we derive from this month, the lesson from the month of Elul on a whole, the Rebbe is going to derive a lesson from the fact that we say L'David Hashem Oidi, and the Rebbe says that reciting this chapter until chapter 27, L'David Hashem Oidi, this is a lesson for the entire month of Elul. I believe we learned about this already, that the Rebbe says that even though L'David Hashem Oidi is recited during Tishrei as well, but during Tishrei it's only recited part of the month of Tishrei. And we said, just like by Sfiras HaOmer, even though there's some mitzvahs, some parts of Nisan that we do Sfiras HaOmer, and some parts of Sivan that we do Sfiras HaOmer, but Iyar is the only month that its entirety is Sfiras HaOmer. That means that the month itself is connected with Sfira. In the same way, because we recite L'David Hashem Oidi for the entirety of the month of Elul, that means that Elul is identified with L'David Hashem Oidi. So therefore, the Rebbe starts off by saying that the lesson of this month is, as he's going to explain, L'David Hashem Oidi. What is that lesson? Second paragraph in Zayin. Jeden Tag from the Tag from Chodesh Elul, every day of the days of the month of Elul, sagt men zwei Mal, we recite twice a day. Sai and Tfil Shachris, both in Shachris in the morning davening. When mahaypt on the Tag, when we begin the day with the morning davening. And Sai in Tfil's Mincha, and also in Mincha davening, when we schlist up the Tag, when we conclude the day. The Rebbe in the footnote says, how do we say that the day becomes concluded with Mincha? I mean, it's a lot of stuff still going on after Mincha. But since we know that Shachris and Mincha were established corresponding to the two carbon tamas that was brought, the opening carbon the Beis HaMikdash, the first carbon the Beis HaMikdash was the Tamid Shel Shachar, the carbon in the morning, which corresponding to that, we daven Shachris. The second carbon that's brought in the Beis HaMikdash is the Tamid Shel Bein HaArbayim. That was and corresponding to that afternoon Tamid, which closed all the karbanos. The two Tmidim, the one in the morning, the one in the afternoon, were bookends. All karbanos were brought between those two karbanos. You couldn't bring any karbanos before that happened, before the morning Tamid. You couldn't bring any karbanos after the Tamid Shel Bein HaArbayim, except Pesach. That was just carbon Pesach, an exception. But in general, every single carbon had to be between those two. So therefore, the Tamid Shel Bein HaArbayim, the afternoon carbon Tamid, corresponding to which we daven now Mincha, closes and concludes the day. So, therefore, when we talk about saying twice L'David Hashem Oidi, so we're saying it at the beginning of the day, and in regards to this, we're calling Mincha the end of the day. What do we say? The Mizmor, right after the brackets, David Hashem Oiri V'yishi. That for David, he said, Hashem is my light and the one that helps me. V'goymer. Was das tefillah? This is a prayer. Was David HaMelech ni'im zmiris Yisrael? That David HaMelech was the pleasant singer of the Jewish people. Hat gesagt in Namen von jeder Yidin. David HaMelech, when he authored and he recited Tehillim, he wasn't saying it just on his behalf, because a lot of the tefillahs seem to reflect events of David HaMelech's life. But in truth, he was saying this in the name of Klal Yisrael, b'meshach von alle deures, for all generations, and in alle Erter and in all occasions. In other words, whatever David HaMelech said in Tehillim was meant to represent Jewish experience throughout all times and throughout all geographical occasions. That is why the Rebbe is going to say how this teaches us lessons in our life, even though it's thousands of years ago and it was in a totally different area. But David HaMelech said it on our behalf. He was representing us when he was saying this. Last paragraph. This prayer begins with the words, Hashem is my light, and He is the one that saves me, helps me, assists me. As der Eibishter beleicht dem Tag täglichen Leben von jeden Jiden Euri. Hashem illuminates the day-to-day life of every Jew. That's why we call Hashem Euri. He is my light. Now, the Rebbe says in footnote 24, a beautiful concept. We'll actually read the footnote on the bottom of the page, last footnote on the page. Why do we need Hashem to be our light? What does He need to illuminate for us? Kedei sheyireh, so that a Yid should see Eizohi derech hachaim v'atoiv. What is the path of life and good? Like it says in Parashat Nitzavim, Nasati lefanecha hayoyim es hachaim v'satoiv. I have placed before you today what is the life and what is good. Ubacharta b'chaim. And then the pasuk continues that Hashem commands us, and you shall choose life. But Pirish Rashi, Rashi's commentary on it says, Ani moira lochem, I am teaching you, I am directing you. Shetivcheru b'chelik hachayim. Make sure to choose in that lot, in that portion, which is life. And not only does He indicate and tell us, make sure to choose life, He places them there. It's analogous to, there is a father showing his son and saying, this piece of real estate, this land is good for agriculture and planting and so on. And that land is not a good piece of land. And then he actually takes him and places him there, shows him this is it. So the Rebbe says that is what it means that Hashem is our light. He illuminates, He shows us, He doesn't just tell us, do the right thing and choose what you're supposed to choose and make sure to do everything the way it's correct, but He makes sure to actually point it out to us. That's what it means that He's our light. He illuminates the situation. Next page. Nit kukendik. I'm sorry, not next page. Sorry, we still didn't finish the previous paragraph. 3 lines from the bottom of the page. Unhelftim arois. Not only does Hashem illuminate and show us and point out to us what is the correct path and what we should do, but He helps us out. That's what Yishi means. As soll kennen einordnen sein Leben, wie es darf zu sein. That he should be able to arrange his life the way it is supposed to be. Nit kukendik, top of the next page, auf der Reifes amol is es nit as leicht. Regardless of the fact that sometimes it is not so easy to follow this life of Torah mitzvahs. So that's why we have Hashem assisting us. Let's look in footnote 25. Why is it not easy? So on the bottom of the page, look at the footnote. Kiven asher yeshnam kama michsholim v'nisyonis b'darkei shel adam. Since there are many obstacles and challenges on the road, on the path that a person needs to take. The Yetzer Hara of a person overpowers him daily. There needs to be Hashem coming to the person's assistance. So that's what Yishi means. That once Hashem has pointed out to us, once Hashem has revealed to us what's the proper path, we have now an issue that it's not easy sometimes. So we need to know that Hashem helps us out, even though it doesn't always come out easy because there's all types of tests and challenges. Hashem is not only Oiri, but also Yishi. He's also helping us. Second paragraph on the page. And the noch is mamamshach in the tefillah, and afterwards we continue in the tefillah of L'David Hashem Oiri. Lachzois b'noyam Hashem, to see the pleasantness of Hashem, ulevaker behecholoi, and to visit His palace. The Rebbe is going to explain the word noyam is more than just pleasantness, but pleasure and sweetness. As man soll sehen die Süßkeit und Gutskeit von Göttlichkeit. That we should see, and we are able to see, and Hashem helps us to see, the sweetness and goodness of godliness. Bis as man soll fühlen, as man besucht dem Eibischen in seinem Hechel. Until we actually feel that we are visiting Hashem in His royal palace. That's how much we should see and be aware of the deliciousness of godliness. Third paragraph, bis zum Siyum HaMizmor, until the conclusion of chapter 27 in Tehillim, Kaveh el Hashem, hope to Hashem. As euch in die Zeiten oder Goy, also in those times and moments, was metracht wegen andere Sachen, when we're thinking about other things. In other words, we're not involved in visiting Hashem's palace. We're not involved in all the other things that he talks about over there in the Kapitel Tehillim. One is occupied with their own day-to-day life. They're at work, they're eating, they're doing other physical activities. Still in all, they need to have in their minds, soll ständig sein der Kaveh Hashem. It should always be the hope that they have for Hashem. As man hofft zum Eibishten, that one hopes to Hashem, me verlässt sich auf den Eibishten, and we rely on Hashem. As wird sein Eure wie Yishi, that Hashem will be my light and the one that helps me. Die Lichtigkeit und die Hilfe in dem täglichen Leben. I have totally rely on Hashem, that He will be the illumination and the help in the day-to-day life. Jeden Tag, every day. Alle Tag, all the days, und alle Jahren and all years. That this is a constant, ongoing reliance on Hashem, that He will take care of everything. As die Brachas und die Hilfe von dem Eibischen, that the Brachas and the help of Hashem, weil nimshach werden bemeshach von dem ganzen Leben von jeden Jiden. They will come down throughout the entire life of every Jew. When a person's attitude is in such a type of way, so the result is a joyous service of Hashem. Oischas. And then he does his service with joy. As he brings in the footnote, like the Pasuk says, Ivdos Hashem b'simcha, we are enjoined to serve Hashem out of joy. Why is he happy? Because he knows that Hashem is my light, and Hashem is the one that helps me. as der Eibishter leicht him und helft him in dem Tag täglichen Leben, that the Hashem illuminates for him and helps him out in his day-to-day life. The Rebbe says another thing that helps us appreciate the Hashem's help and how we can have complete reliance on Hashem and no reason to be worried about anything. So I heard yesterday I heard someone speaking, and they said that the opposite of worry is not calmness, but joy, but being happy. So here he's saying the other thing. He's happy because he's not worried. And it's the same idea. Befrat, when betracht sich, this is especially so, and here he's going to bring in the psukim that the children just recited. As bereishis bara l'kim as shmayim v's'aretz. That in the beginning, Hashem created the heavens and the earth. Like we just now recited, the children just now recited by the rally, the 12 psukim, including bereishis. As der Eibishter baschaffen die Himmeln und der Erd, and alles was gefindt sich in sich, that Hashem created the heavens and the earth, and the Rebbe adds, and everything that is found in the heavens and the earth. The Rebbe brings in footnote 30 that this is what Rashi explains. Why does it say Bereishis bara l'kim es hashamayim ve'es haaretz? It could have just said Bereishis bara l'kim hashamayim ve'haaretz. What is the es needed to be said over there? So es hashamayim, the Rashi says, l'rabis told to say him. The word es comes to include everything in the heavens. And the es said by the Aretz comes to include all the things in the earth. So in other words, it's not chas v'sholom that only the heavens and the earth themselves were created by Hashem. But when it says Bereishis bara l'kim es hashamayim es haaretz, it means that Hashem created the heavens and the earth and everything that's in them. Therefore, since Hashem created all of this, is doch verstandig as is the Baal Bas was feared on mitzvah. It's understood that he is the one in charge. He owns them, and he runs it. It's his machine. It's his factory. No one's going to expect that when a person makes something, that they're going to allow it to get destroyed or not work correctly. You made something, you created something, you're sure that it's running properly. Now, of course, a human being there are certain conditions that are beyond his control, but by Hashem, it's not that way. Therefore, since Hashem created the world, and like Chassidus even thinks that Hashem creates the world constantly, so he runs everything in the world. And because he runs everything in the world, we can rely on him and we can be joyous that everything is going to be okay and everything is going to be right. So he says in the second paragraph on the second column, und der Far is Yismach Yisrael ba'osav. Therefore, Yidden rejoice in their Maker, v'mat ersh gesagt, and Yidwei Psukim Amar Chazal, which is also something that they just now recited in the 12 Psukim. Yidden freuen sich mit dem Neibischen. Jews rejoice with Hashem. Was hat sie beschaffen, that he created them. That's why it says ba'osav, that he made them. Und hat beschaffen es Hashemayim v'sa'aretz. And also, as we mentioned just before, that they're rejoicing with Hashem that made the heavens and the earth. Und demot wird euch yismach Hashem b'ma'asav. Then, when we rejoice in Hashem that made us, so then Hashem rejoices also in what He made. As der Eibishter freut sich mit den Sachen, welche beschaffen, that Hashem rejoices with the things which He created mit Yidden. In other words, He rejoices with Yidden. Und euch mit Shemayim v'aretz, and also with the heavens and the earth. In other words, we can determine Hashem's mood. Will Hashem be happy with His creation? And especially, will Hashem be happy with us? That is determined by us if we are happy with Hashem. If we are happy with Hashem, So then the corresponding emotion that we draw out by Hashem is, in the terminology of Chassidus, based on how we are inspired down here below. So that draws down inspiration from above. So Hashem rejoices with us as well. And not only does He rejoice with us who caused the happiness, but then Hashem is happy with His world as well. Because since the entire world was created so that Yidden should serve Hashem, so when Yidden are rejoicing with Hashem and therefore doing their service the way they're supposed to be doing, so that Hashem is not just happy with us, but He's rejoicing with the entire creation. That's why it says, Yismach Hashem b'ma'asav, in all of His doings, in all of His actions. Not just the Jewish people, but also Shamayim v'aretz. When Hashem is joyous, so then that has an impact on the world. It's not just a nice theoretical thing. Okay, we made Hashem happy. Hashem's happiness has corresponding effect in our physical realm. He said 3 paragraphs in the bottom, and since Hashem is joyous and happy, He's verstandig, it's understood, as es kommt zu ein Sof in dem Eibishten's brachas, that there is an increase in Hashem's brachas. In other words, the Rebbe assumes as the bottom standard, the basis for everything, there's definitely Hashem's brachas. When we cause Simcha by Hashem, so when there is Simcha, that increases the brachas. As we know that Simcha makes a person more open and more expansive and literally, physically more giving. If a person is happy, they share more and they give more of themselves. They're not constricted, they're not limited, or in the terminology that Chassidus always brings down, Simcha parts together, joy breaks through boundaries. And not only does the Simcha that we engendered by Hashem through our joy cause an increase in His brachas and His blessings, but the manner in which they come down, and the brachas kommen herab in anoifen von Simcha, and the brachas come down in a way of joy. Perhaps the Rebbe means to say sometimes brachas can come down, but through sometimes we need to overcome challenges till the actual till the actual joy or the increase in the brachas come out. Let's say, for example, the person, just to give a simple example, the simcha that we have will bring down an increase in Hashem's brachas. So instead of making $100,000 this year, I'll make $200,000 this year. But it could be I'm going to have to work very hard for it. Or because of my simcha that elicited Hashem's joy and increase in brachas, the manner in which it will come down is in a way that's happy for me, in a joyous manner to me, in a way that I am in a state of relief and happiness, not in a way of extra work and extra toil to bring this about. And from this, from saying L'David Hashem Oidi, which we said, that is the entire theme of the month of El, because it's something that's said for the entirety of the month. So therefore, since the month of El has in it, like the Rebbe always says, the month of El is both a culmination of the previous year, but it's also a preparation for the coming year. Like Ani L'Doidi V'Doidi Li, Ani L'Doidi is something that's really in the month of El, and then the Doidi Li comes down in Tishrei. So the month of El is preparation for the next year. So if my month of El is a happy month because Hashem is my light and Hashem saves me and and helps me, and He's the one that I'm hoping to constantly, so then this prepares us that the upcoming year will also be a happy year, because El is the preparation for next year. So this is a directive. We want to have a happy year. have a happy Elul. Happy Elul, happy year comes about. Unheimlich, beginning that this happiness, we don't have to wait till next year for this happiness, but unheimlich from the letzte Tag from dem Jahr was geht weg, beginning that the happiness manifests itself in the final days of the year that we are about to leave, meaning the Tag from Chodesh El are the final days of the previous year. That is already infused with happiness. And then afterwards, wird das nimshach euch in alle Tag von dem kommenden Jahr. And afterwards, this comes down upon and in all the days of the coming year, that it should be permeated with joy as well. This is essentially the point of the Sicha the Rebbe speaks about concerning Simcha, and I guess we'll stop over here.